It started with a calendar invite. Performance discussion. No warning. No prior feedback. Just a meeting with my manager and HR. By the end of it, I was on a performance improvement plan. But I didn't argue. I asked for metrics, and that's when the room got quiet. The tone was rehearsed. We've noticed some concerns about your overall performance. Overall performance. That's not a metric. That's a vibe. So I asked, can you clarify which deliverables were not met? They exchanged a glance. Then came the words I expected. It's more about consistency and perception. Perception, still not measurable. Let's be honest. In most workplaces, a performance improvement plan isn't about improvement. It's documentation. It's a paper trail. It's a countdown clock. But here's what they didn't expect from me. I was calm. When they slid the document across the table, I read every single line carefully. Improv communication. Demonstrate stronger ownership. Be more proactive. These are classic corporate phrases that sound important but mean very little. So I looked up and asked, can we define measurable success criteria for each of these? Silence. Then the HR representative finally said, what do you mean? I explained. I mean specific numbers. Deadlines. Quantifiable outcomes. Because you can't improve what isn't defined. The vague nature of these plans is intentional. It gives them the flexibility to say, you failed, no matter what you do. I came to that meeting prepared. On my laptop, I pulled up my project completion rates, my email response times, my KPI dashboards, client satisfaction feedback, and my quarterly performance summaries. Everything was green. There were no missed deadlines, no formal warnings, nothing that would justify this meeting. So I asked again, which specific metric triggered this plan? That's when the tone in the room shifted. My manager, looking a little uncomfortable, finally admitted there had been concerns from leadership about your visibility. Visibility, not my output. Not my accuracy, my visibility. Apparently, I wasn't being loud enough in meetings. I wasn't self-promoting enough. I was steady. I just did my job, and did it well. I didn't refuse the plan. That would have made me look defensive and difficult. Instead, I said, I'm fully committed to improving. Let's work together to define measurable targets for this. So, we rewrote it right there in the room. Instead of the vague improv communication, it became provide weekly written project summaries to the team. Instead of demonstrate stronger ownership, we changed it to lead one cross-team presentation per month. And be more proactive was replaced with submit the updated KPI dashboard every Friday by 3 p.m. Suddenly, the plan was concrete. It was trackable. It was objective. Here's the thing about measurable goals. They remove interpretation, they remove perception, they remove the vague feelings that can get you fired. It's just about the numbers. The next 90 days were all about documentation. After 30 days, every single target was met. After 60 days, I had exceeded them. By the end of the 90-day period, I had a perfect record. Every presentation was logged. Every summary was timed. Every KPI was archived. There was no room for perception to creep in. There was only data. At the final review meeting, my manager looked at the evidence and said, we've seen great improvement. Improvement. That's an interesting word. Because my actual performance hadn't changed at all. My work ethic, my quality, my output, was all the same. The only thing that changed was my documentation. I was now making my work visible in a way they could understand. HR reviewed the numbers. Everything aligned. There were no missed metrics, no vague language, no gray areas. The PIP quietly ended. There was no extension, no escalation, and most importantly, no termination. But something else changed. Suddenly, I was being invited to more meetings. My weekly summaries were being circulated upward to leadership. My dashboards were being referenced in high-level calls. And it wasn't because I was working harder. It was because I was working more visibly. The very thing they had criticized me for was now my greatest strength, because I had turned it into a documented process. A performance plan built on perception is a trap. It's dangerous because you can never win. But a performance plan rewritten with metrics, that's protection. They thought the PIP would pressure me into quitting. Instead, it forced them to be clear about their expectations. And once they were clear, I could easily meet them. 6 months later, during the annual reviews, the entire narrative had flipped. My review now read, consistently delivers measurable results. Strong cross-team communicator, reliable and structured. I was the same employee, doing the same work, but with a completely different framing. They put me on a performance improvement plan. I didn't panic. I didn't fight it. I asked for metrics, and when performance became measurable, so did the truth. So if you ever find yourself in this situation, remember, don't let them trap you with vague language. Ask for the numbers, because the numbers don't lie. Thanks for watching.